for like 4 to 6 hours. In this case, I'm going to use chop roll. So I already have it cut in like large pieces like this. So what you want to do first, you want to season your beef. We normally use dry chilies, dry peppers. We take out the seeds. The peppers, we cook them in a comal, which is a Mexican flat top, which we put on top of a ranch, and we bring it at a high temperature. We cook our tortillas there, and we toast the peppers. After you season your beef, you want to sear it. By searing the beef, what you're doing, you're making sure that those juices from the meat stay in the meat so that the meat doesn't get dry. And because I don't have my peppers, I apologize about that. I'm gonna use this is dried chilies that have been ground. So I'm gonna substitute those dried chilies for this dry raw. You wanna season all sides of the meat. And then when your pan is really hot, then you sear your meat. Lower the heat so it doesn't burn. While the meat is searing, I'm going to have some, I'm going to boil some water. I'm going to get some water going. Once your meat is seared from all sides, then you transfer it into your boiling water, which you're going to season with some vinegar, some bay leaves, salt, pepper. And you're going to simmer it for, like I said, 4 to 6 hours, or until it's nice and tender. So while that meat is cooking, we can start doing some pickled onions for garnish and flavor. some gloves on. Oh, one thing that I forgot, my cut glove. We're all about safety. We all make sure that nobody gets injured, so I have to put my cut glove on. Got my knife here. Already washed the onions. So the reason I cut the ends is so that the onion doesn't move anywhere and I don't cut myself. Now I just cut it in half. I'll cut about 2 layers of the onion. Take about 2 layers of the onion, I'm sorry. And I'm going to julienne the onions. And the way to pickle the onions, get some apple cider vinegar. About a cup of apple cider vinegar. I have a cup of water. You also add some sugar, and you boil the liquid. Once it comes to boil, you put the onions in a container. And then you add the hot liquid into the onions. You cover them for maybe about 2 hours, and that will be nice and pickled. So this is the process for pickled onions. Stop the camera for a little bit. Black bean mash. So what you want to do, you want to brunoise some onions. I already have the onions brunoise, which is a very small dice. The way you brunoise your onions. And you take 2 layers of the onions. How you brunoise your onions. Questions? So you always want to keep your fingers away from the knife, so you don't cut yourself. You don't want to do this, then you will cut yourself. You always want the blade to be against your knuckles. So I have the onions. I'm going to get my pan a little bit hot. Put a little bit of oil. And I'm going to sweat my onions. You want your onions to be translucent, but you don't want them to burn. Once your onions are translucent for about 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes, then you add your beans. And you're gonna smash in your beans. And you want them to continue cooking. I normally use an immersion blender to puree my beans a little bit, but I usually leave them chunky. I don't like to make it like refried beans. I usually add a little more liquid. Normally I put like chicken stock, vegetable stock, depending on what I'm cooking, to go along with beans. You want to cook them for about 10 minutes. Once they're ready, like I said, you want to smash them, or you can use an immersion blender to puree your beans. Like I said earlier, once you have cooked all of your items, then you can make your dish. This barbacoa, you can incorporate it into nachos. You can do rice bowls, and if you're having a nice dinner, a nice date, you can create a nice dish like what I'm going to do right now. Nice and tender. Garnish it with some pickled onions. Some cilantro. Also have some tortilla strips that you can put for garnish. If you have a nice date, you can create a nice barbacoa dish for your date. And like I said, you can make tacos. You can do rice bowls. You can just incorporate many dishes and have fun with this